What's happening, everyone, and welcome back to the Roger Report. The news cycle is absolutely exploding right now, and we've got the inside scoop on the stories you need to know. From gridiron predictions to legendary debates, buckle up because we're diving deep into the biggest updates shaping the sports world and beyond. Get ready for some unmissable insights that are making waves across the leagues. Let's get right into it. First up, we're talking about the future of quarterback play and a legendary voice weighing in on a potential rising star. What does Tom Brady think about the Chicago Bears' young signal caller and the coach tasked with his development? We've got the breakdown on how this pairing is expected to shape up for the upcoming season. Then, we're diving headfirst into a debate that set the sports world ablaze, the true definition of a generational talent. A Super Bowl champion has dropped a bombshell take on some of the game's all-time greats, and the reactions are priceless. You won't believe who's being challenged and why. Next, we're shifting focus to a team that just hoisted the ultimate trophy. Can a current coaching duo possibly be compared to the most dominant partnership in NFL history? We're breaking down the bold comparison that's got everyone talking about the Philadelphia Eagles and their path forward. And finally, we're revisiting that hot-button topic with another angle. We've got more on the former champion's controversial stance on quarterback legends and the arguments being made for and against his provocative claim. Stick around for all the details. Don't miss a single second of this action-packed episode. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the Roger Report, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Brady weighs in. Caleb Williams bears future with new coach. Context: with the Chicago Bears pinning their hopes on Caleb Williams, the development of their #1 overall draft pick is under intense scrutiny, especially with a new coaching staff at the helm. Seven-time Super Bowl champion and NFL broadcaster Tom Brady has offered a detailed perspective on the trajectory of Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, particularly in his second year under the guidance of new head coach Ben Johnson. Brady, who also holds a minority ownership stake in the Las Vegas Raiders, expressed optimism about the pairing, predicting significant progress for Williams in the 2025 season. He drew a parallel to Jared Goff's resurgence with the Detroit Lions after being acquired from the Rams, suggesting that a similar developmental arc could be possible for Williams. Brady highlighted that Williams, unlike Goff, possesses a different physical style of play, which means Johnson will need to tailor his offensive system to accentuate Williams' unique strengths. Observing Williams' performance, Brady noted that the young quarterback is at his best when he delivers the ball quickly and decisively, demonstrating efficiency in processing reads. Conversely, he pointed out that when Williams holds onto the ball for too long, his effectiveness diminishes. This observation underscores the critical role of coaching in refining a young quarterback's decision-making and release timing. Brady emphasized that the presence of a great teacher like Ben Johnson provides Williams with the optimal environment to succeed and overcome these developmental hurdles. Johnson, who previously served as the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, is credited with elevating their offense over 3 seasons, leading to 2 consecutive NFC North Division titles in 2023 and 2024. While Johnson is expected to implement a system that has a proven track record of success, he will undoubtedly adapt it to suit Williams' particular skill set. Adding another layer to this development, ESPN reporter Jeremy Fowler indicated that Johnson might grant Williams more freedom to operate outside the confines of the system than initially suggested by training camp and preseason activities. Fowler's sources in Chicago suggest that while Johnson will rigorously coach Williams on fundamental aspects, the Bears will ultimately leverage his mobility and off-platform throwing abilities, allowing him to be an improvisational playmaker. This approach could lead to a more dynamic offensive display from the Bears in the regular season. The Bears have also made significant moves to bolster their offensive weaponry, drafting tight end Colston Loveland and slot wide receiver Luther Burden III with early picks in the 2025 draft. Furthermore, the team has strengthened its offensive line through trades and free agency, bringing in 2 new starting guards and a new starting center. This improved protection is crucial, especially considering Williams absorbed a league-leading 68 sacks last season. While the offensive line's performance was a contributing factor, Williams' tendency to hold the ball also played a role. Under Johnson's guidance, this issue is expected to be mitigated, paving the way for a substantial leap in Williams' performance in the upcoming season. Audience impact. Bears fans are buzzing with anticipation, hoping this expert endorsement signals a turnaround for their franchise quarterback, while analysts are keen to see how Johnson's scheme evolves. But is raw talent enough to define greatness, or is it something more? Up next, we dive into a debate that's got everyone talking. What truly makes a quarterback generational? Defining generational talent. Ryan Clark's controversial take on NFL legends. A Super Bowl champion sparks a firestorm by questioning the generational talent status of 3 NFL quarterback icons. The term generational talent is often debated in sports, and Ryan Clark's recent comments have reignited this discussion by applying a strict definition that excludes some of the game's most decorated players. Ryan Clark, a former Super Bowl champion and prominent NFL analyst, has ignited a significant debate across the sports world with his assertion that legendary quarterbacks Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning do not qualify as generational talents. Clark made these remarks during a discussion on ESPN regarding whether Texas quarterback Arch Manning fits the generational mold. While Clark's comments have drawn widespread mockery, including a jab from the official X account of the New Orleans Saints, his underlying argument centers on a specific definition of talent versus greatness. Clark distinguishes between raw, innate ability, which he labels as talent, and the culmination of skill, preparation, determination, and achievement, which he defines as greatness. According to Clark, traits such as size, speed, arm strength, and innate athleticism are the hallmarks of raw talent. He argues that Brady, Brees, and Manning, while undeniably great, did not possess these overwhelming physical advantages. Instead, their success is attributed to factors like Brady's unparalleled preparation and determination, Manning's exceptional football IQ and command of the offense, and Brees' precision, discipline, and composure under pressure, despite his relatively smaller stature. Clark suggested that the label talented is sometimes applied to players who have yet to achieve significant success, citing Trevor Lawrence and Caleb Williams as examples of quarterbacks still considered talented, because their ultimate greatness is yet to be proven. He also pointed to cautionary tales like Marcus Russell and Ryan Leaf, who were labeled generational talents, but became notable busts in the NFL, implying that the term can sometimes signify wasted potential. Even Jerry Rice, widely regarded as the greatest wide receiver of all time, is mentioned by Clark as not being a generational talent in the raw physical sense, emphasizing Rice's route precision as the key to his legendary status. Clark's perspective is not intended as a slight against these athletes, but rather as a tribute to their ability to achieve unparalleled greatness through factors beyond sheer physical gifts. He contends that true generational talents are rare, citing John Elway, Patrick Mahomes, and Andrew Luck as examples who embodied exceptional innate abilities. The controversy intensified with reactions from fellow ESPN personalities like Stephen A. Smith, who debated the definition and application of the term, particularly in relation to up-and-coming players like Arch Manning. Smith emphasized the importance of realized potential and current performance over future projections. Audience impact. The debate has polarized fans and analysts, with many questioning Clark's definition and defending the legacies of Brady, Manning, and Brees, while others find merit in his distinction between talent and achievement. But what if a current coach and quarterback duo is already drawing comparisons to the game's most legendary partnership? We'll explore that next, right here on the Roger Report. Eagles duo compared to Brady-Belichick Dynasty by ESPN analyst. An ESPN analyst draws a bold parallel between the Philadelphia Eagles head coach and star quarterback and the iconic Patriots duo. Following a Super Bowl victory, the Eagles' leadership is being scrutinized, leading to a comparison with one of the most dominant partnerships in NFL history. In the wake of the Philadelphia Eagles' Super Bowl LIX triumph, ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky has drawn a striking comparison between Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni and quarterback Jalen Hurts, and the legendary coaching and quarterback tandem of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Orlovsky, a former NFL quarterback himself, made the assertion on ESPN's Get Up, suggesting that Sirianni and Hurts represent a modern-day version of the Belichick-Brady partnership. He elaborated on his reasoning by describing Jalen Hurts as robotic and maniacal and very focused, noting his ability to block out external distractions. Orlovsky feels that the perceived alignment and intense focus between Sirianni and Hurts mirror the mindset that characterized the New England Patriots dynasty under Belichick and Brady. This comparison has inevitably led to speculation among Eagles fans about the potential for sustained dominance in Philadelphia, reminiscent of the Patriots' two-decade run of success. While the comparison is flattering, it is also acknowledged as a significant long shot, given the unprecedented heights achieved by Belichick and Brady. Their partnership resulted in 6 Super Bowl championships and a level of consistent excellence that is exceptionally difficult to replicate. However, the analogy serves to highlight the strong synergy and shared vision that Orlovsky perceives between Sirianni and Hurts. The Eagles' recent championship, their first under Sirianni, demonstrates the effectiveness of their current leadership. The team's ability to navigate the regular season and perform at a high level in the playoffs suggests a strong foundation. The comparison to Belichick and Brady, while perhaps premature, underscores the belief that Sirianni and Hurts possess the key ingredients: dedication, focus, and a shared strategic approach that could potentially lead to future success. The narrative around Sirianni's perceived lack of overt celebration following the Super Bowl win, contrasted with his focus on the X's and O's, also adds a layer to the comparison, echoing the often understated yet intensely focused demeanor of Belichick. For Eagles supporters, the hope is that this foundational chemistry between their coach and quarterback can indeed pave the way for a dynasty, even if the path is incredibly long and challenging. The journey of any potential dynasty begins with establishing a strong core, and the Eagles appear to have that in Sirianni and Hurts, who have already delivered a championship in a relatively short period. Audience impact. Eagles fans are energized by the comparison, envisioning a future dynasty, while analysts are debating whether the current duo can truly reach such legendary status. But the debate over legendary status doesn't end there. We're revisiting that controversial take on quarterback greatness next. Super Bowl champ defends stance: Brady, Manning, Brees not generational. A former Super Bowl champion doubles down on his controversial claim that iconic quarterbacks Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees aren't generational talents. Ryan Clark's assertion has sparked widespread debate, leading to further discussion and clarification of his definition of what constitutes a generational talent in the NFL. Ryan Clark, a Super Bowl XLII champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, is standing firm on his assertion that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees do not fit his definition of generational talents. Appearing on ESPN's First Take, Clark reiterated his stance, which has generated significant online discussion and criticism. He provided examples of quarterbacks he believes are generational talents, including John Elway, Patrick Mahomes, and Andrew Luck, while explicitly excluding Brady, Manning, and Brees. Clark's definition appears to hinge on an inherent raw physical ability, a God-given gift of athleticism, size, speed, and arm strength that he feels is characteristic of a true generational talent. He contrasted this with what he termed greatness, which he argues is achieved through factors like intense preparation, football intelligence, determination, and execution, all of which he credits to Brady, Manning, and Brees. Clark elaborated that while these legends achieved immense success, their paths to greatness were paved by qualities beyond sheer innate physical gifts. For instance, he highlighted Brady's unparalleled work ethic and mental fortitude, Manning's masterful command of offenses and defenses, and Brees' precision and composure despite physical limitations. Clark also pointed to players like Marcus Russell and Ryan Leaf as examples of individuals who were labeled generational talents, based on perceived physical gifts, but ultimately failed to translate that potential into sustained success, suggesting that the label can sometimes be associated with unfulfilled promise. The debate gained further traction with contributions from other ESPN personalities, including Stephen A. Smith, who questioned the timing and application of the generational label, particularly for younger players like Arch Manning, emphasizing the need to see proven results. Smith highlighted that the operative word is, meaning current status rather than future potential. The New Orleans Saints social media team notably responded to Clark's comments by posting graphics showcasing Brady, Brees, and Manning at the top of all-time passing yards and touchdowns lists, implicitly challenging Clark's assessment of their overall standing. Clark's consistent defense of his position suggests a deeply held belief in his analytical framework, distinguishing between inherent athletic gifts and the cultivated skills and achievements that define legendary careers. He views his comments not as a detraction from the legacies of Brady, Manning, and Brees, but as a specific categorization based on his understanding of talent versus accomplishment. The ongoing discussion underscores the subjective nature of such labels in sports and the varied criteria analysts use to evaluate player greatness. Audience impact. The controversy continues to fuel discussions among fans and analysts, with many dissecting Clark's definition and defending the historical achievements of the quarterbacks in question. That's all the news for today, folks. But before you go, let's do a quick recap of the biggest stories we covered. And that's a wrap on today's show. Let's do a lightning round recap. Tom Brady sees big things ahead for Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson in Chicago. Ryan Clark is stirring the pot, arguing that Brady, Brees, and Manning weren't truly generational talents. Dan Orlovsky is comparing Nick Sirianni and Jalen to the legendary Brady-Belichick duo. And we heard more on Clark's controversial take on quarterback greatness. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the Roger Report for more in-depth sports analysis, and ring that notification bell so you're always in the loop. Let us know your thoughts on these stories in the comments below, and make sure to follow us on all our social media channels for even more exclusive content. We'll see you next time.